Hey, what's going on, everybody? In this video, we're going to be doing a book review of Animal Weapons, The Evolution of Battle by Douglas Emlen. And before we get started with the narrative and the text, I just want to say that the illustrations done by David J. Tuss are really excellent. Let's see if I can get a couple close-ups here. And these illustrations are found all throughout the book, both modern animals and extinct animals, which are really cool. But anyways, so let's get to the book. Now, this book basically deals with, it's a combination of animal biology and modern political conflict and modern technology. And basically dealing with the whole concept of arms races. Now, the author starts the book in the animal kingdom, discussing animal weapons and how arms races in the animal kingdom come about, and what sort of requirements are required to trigger something like an arms race in the animal kingdom, as well as the pros and cons of such situations. He then moves on to compare these with mankind's arms races, both modern and in the past. And that's sort of where the first problem I have with the book comes in, is because some of these comparisons are good, but some of the comparisons definitely seem kind of shallow. Like, they seem really good on paper, and you kind of know they're coming, but then when you really get to thinking about it, even after he explains it, it just leaves you wanting a little bit more explanation, and I don't know, I think they could have been fleshed out. For example, the book is divided into 4 parts, and only the last part is really dedicated to actually discussing comparisons between mankind's arms races and the animal kingdom examples of arms races. Before the last section, there are some examples, but they're only briefly mentioned. But like I said, some of the comparisons, they look good, like kind of at face value, but like I said, I just think they could have been fleshed out a little bit more to explain them more fully, I suppose. But on the other side of things, I felt the book was really well done. The animal arms races are explained very, very concisely, and I definitely like that when dealing with a biology book, since that's not like my main forte or anything. So he basically has 3 specific conditions that are needed and are required for an animal arms race to begin, and they are competition for some sort of resource, economic defensibility, which means that it's actually practical to defend that said resource, and also duels, or essentially one-on-one combats of some sort between the animals. Now, I don't want to get into them too specifically. You should definitely just go read the book if you're interested in that. But those 3 conditions are fleshed out really nicely, and he has tons of animal examples throughout the whole book. And he also, like I said, he deals with the pros and cons of such animal arms races, and why certain species don't exhibit arms races. Sometimes over the course of an animal or evolution, a specific species might have an arms race and then revert back to not how they were before an arms race. But he also goes over the pros and cons of individual animals in a species and what they have to deal with while being essentially fated to be in an arms race, just because they're born into that species. And I thought that part, the animal portion of the book, which is the majority of the book. Now, in a sense, this really was a pretty straightforward book dealing with the whole thesis of how animal arms races come about, and he does a great job with this thesis. It's clear, his arguments are clear, concise. He devotes whole chapters to each of those 3 conditions, as I said. He fleshes it out really well, and it's just well written with tons of examples from the animal kingdom to make his arguments or help bolster them. And I just thought that part of the book, which is the majority of the book, like I said, is really, really good, and for that reason I'm giving Animal Weapons, The Evolution of Battle 4 stars. And always remember, read victoriously.